I can hear
You
you
guys
good.
I'm sorry,
I
you guys
killed my.
just missed the best friggin' phone call ever. Oh my God. I had it turned down from earlier. It's fucked up. So tell us who you are again, because nobody heard your call at all, unfortunately.
Yeah, down here in New York, live on Long Island, 31-year NYPD vet. My name's Chris Schmidt. I've had a bunch of cases with Mark Betterow years back when he was in the Manhattan DA's office. We had, maybe some DWI, some assaults, some narcotics cases. I'll rip him on his, Red Sox and Bruins paraphernalia adorning the office. But Mark, great guy, great lawyer. And then, we kind of reconnected, as I saw, him join your platform. I've been on this since 2023, kind of when, I guess, Turtle Boy's first article. Initially, what we saw down in New York was, a blurb, Bentley College finance professor charged in, DWI hit and run, case of Boston cop. So I was like, that's kind of, evil. That was our initial, blurbs we get down here in the New York Post. And then one day something popped up online and I started reading Aiden's first article and, kind of like, wow. And then just started going down, I don't want to say the rabbit hole, but it's been, you, the Glare, Melanie Little. I'm all in. I never was into podcasts before this, and I'm just, the breadth of this like conspiracy is sickening. And even crazier was this past weekend for Thanksgiving. I was in Huntington, which is a suburb here on Long Island, of my sister's, and a couple came over for some after dinner drinks. One of her neighbors, you can't make this up. One of her neighbors' cousins was there, and she was from Canton. So they pull up. We're playing volleyball on the front lawn at 9:00 at night, Thanksgiving night. And, the neighbors pull up with their cousins. So they say, oh, hey, when the neighbors is Lizzie, that's my sister. Yeah, come on in, have some drinks, whatever. And then I said, oh, where do you live? To the other couple, thinking that they were neighbors. And they're like, oh, no, we're cousins. We're from Mass. So I said, you're from Mass? I said, when the F are you guys going to free Karen Reed? And they started laughing. And the woman goes, you're not going to believe it. I'm from Canton. So like this woman went to school with like Jill Daniels, grew up with some of these characters, and obviously I was all over. Had her,
you were getting some intel.
I was intel, and she, said, which was, I guess disturbing might be the word. She said, a lot of people in Canton are believe she's innocent, but she said a lot of people are scared, and that the Alberts wield a lot of power there, and that people, still people like kind of scared to talk, and to actually hear that from like, a 40-year-old woman and her husband who was, he spoke a little less, but he was still like, yeah, he goes, it's just bad. He goes, it's bad. He goes, it's, people just afraid and kind of like awaiting, like for like, almost like when are the feds going to come? Exactly. And I was just trying to explain like, and I referenced the Birchmore case and just said, hey, look, that took 3 years for them to really, pin that down. And listen, when the feds come, they're not coming like we think you might have done it. You could have done it. You probably like when they come, they're going to know all the answers to the questions. So I have faith. I'm frustrated at the amount of time it's taken. I can only imagine if one of us were in Miss Reed's shoes. And I tell everyone, I go, guys, Karen Reed could be anyone. I go, that's the scary part. She isn't, I'm not saying some crackhead should be framed for something like this, but this is like a woman who's like never as much had a parking ticket. I would say a pillar of society, being Mary Poppins to these two kids, raising them like they were her own. And what they have done is just, it honestly has, again, cop 31 years, still active. I think I've done a pretty good job in my career.
Yeah, so you're still active right now?
I'm still active right now.
Wow.
Still active right now. Yep.
You're the first active police officer that's called in, so I salute you big time, man.
That shocks me. That's disappointing, actually. That really does. I'm shocked. I'm shocked to hear that. I said the guys I talked to down here maybe aren't into it as much as me, but I'm like, I don't know. I try not to go down the rabbit holes in the comment sections because you can forget it. But we need the good cops to speak up. And like, I'm sure I don't know what the heck happened with Sean. He's kind of gone off the rails, which I don't know what the heck happened there, but he was one of the good guys speaking up, and I'm disappointed. I don't really know what's going on with Sean. I'm kind of just disappointed. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm hoping he kind of comes. That was
so,
like
Chris, you knew attorney Mark Betterow when he was a prosecutor too, right? You worked with him?
Yeah, no, that's where we met in Manhattan. Yep.
And
I was a cop and a lieutenant in Manhattan and a sergeant in the Bronx. So I had, cases with him, I guess late 90s. And then back in I came back to Manhattan, maybe, I was trying to think about when I got promoted. Like the mid 2000s, 04, 05, or 06. So, kind of probably somewhere in there. I think he left the DA's office maybe 10 years ago now. Yeah, I know he's been out a while. But he did a good amount of time. Mark did a good amount of time there. Yeah.
Excellent.
Good guy. Yeah. So we discussed it here in New York. We were watching with just, I guess, bewilderment and amazed, I don't know, just keep fighting the fight. You've been great. I said, my neighbor went to Westfield State. Again, you can't make this stuff up. He lives across the street. Our daughters play softball, volleyball together. He went to Westfield State. He was friendly with the guy. I'm not sure you don't know his name. The guy who was like the acting Boston police commissioner when this whole thing happened.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Not Evans. The other guy. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He spoke at the at the police chief's retirement party. That guy. I'll think of it in a few minutes.
Yeah. So we've just been, I tell people who are like, we had a guy down here too, a sergeant who runs a off the cuff, he runs a podcast, and he's a retired sergeant, and he had on some people, what's the name, Cop and that for a while back, and I waited a long time to email him because he was very dismissive of the whole, of the free carry and read movement. I mean, he had his show was on probably close to a year ago. And I waited because we had friends in common. I emailed him the other day, just to, I was trying to set a very dispassionate, calm thing, hey, has your view changed? And disappointingly, I haven't heard anything back from him. That's an off the cuff podcast, but so that's been disappointing. And I tell people the biggest tell is this: there hasn't been a damn Boston cop in that courtroom in 18 months.
Right.
That's all you need to know. It's because when something like this happens, there's stuff at the precinct, at wherever message boards, whatever, the union guys, hey guys, Mike Crawford's killer, it's going to trial, it's going to hearing, make sure we're there, make sure we support the family, but yada, yada, yada. There has been not a single uniformed Boston cop in that courtroom in a year and a half.
Right.
That's all you need. That's the poker tell.
Yep.
Throw everything else out. That's your poker tell. And it's just disgusting what's going on up there. And listen, a lot of bad guys, I think, ultimately are going to walk free because when the feds come to lock up, hopefully that entire Norfolk County staff and from cop to lieutenant. If I'm a defense attorney and my client went to jail because of one of these guys on an investigation, I'm running to the nearest court and saying, "Give me my hearing, rightfully or wrongfully." Because it seems like these guys were competent and did the right thing in numerous cases, but. This is, come on, we all know there's no coincidence here. There's no shoddy investigation. There's no, please,
yeah. People are loving your call here. They want me, one of the comments just came in and said, this caller's great. Add him to the list of people who we request to call back. Can I call you back at another time? I don't want to let you go yet, but I mean, I got your number here. Can I call? Yeah. I'll text you first.
You can certainly call back.
All right. Excellent.
Text me first. Yeah. I got 4 kids. I'm always up. So
I'm blown away that you're active and you're calling. You knew Betterow. I don't know if we discussed this on the air or not because we had your volume down, but your wife was also a DA.
Yeah, my wife worked. Yeah, she worked with Mark in the Manhattan DA's office. She did sex crimes for 20 years up there in Manhattan. Yeah, my wife was pretty very well regarded. She did the right thing on a ton of cases. So I said we're a law enforcement family. But these aren't cops. These aren't DAs. I don't know what they are. They're masquerading. If you're gonna put the shield on and be the good guy, you got to play by the rules. That's it. That's you want the that's the way the game's played. And you don't this is beyond helping someone with a parking ticket. We all know that this is unbelievable. And I said, if it hadn't been Karen Reed, Like it could happen to anyone. If it happened to Sandra Birchmore, which is, I mean, it's a whole nother level of unbelievableness, for lack of a better word. It's got to stop. And they got to, you know, where's the governor in your state? I mean, that just shocks me. I just feel like the globe has been like kicking and screaming into this case. You know what I mean? I just feel like I'm not conspiracy theory.
No, they're not even, like Bettero said, they're not even covering the fact that they had to bring in this ringer to retry Karen Reed. Like like that's embarrassing that they have no one in their office to take it, you know?
It is. It's shocking. I mean, it's just like, where is the outrage? Like, this is just, you know, I know as big of a story as it's kind of become, you know, Dateline did their little thing in 20, you know, those are real half-assed, excuse my language, you know, specials on or whatever. But like, just where is, I don't know. Maybe I expect too much of the media. Again, not being a conspiracy theory guy, but I just feel like similar to almost like the Catholic Church scandal. It's almost like, hey guys, there's nothing to see here. Like, let's just minimize this whole thing as much as we can, when, I mean, this thing should be maximized. This isn't how we do. This makes my job harder. This makes every time I testify, every time I'm working a protest, a BLM protest, or a, you know, anti-cop thing, and they're like, you cops are dirty, you cops are this, that, and the other thing, and I'm rolling my eyes like, yeah, right. You know what? This is really kind of like shaking the foundation in what I do. It really has, like shaking the faith. Again, 99% of the guys I work with, aces, they'll roll the gunfire. They'll, you know, they're going to go out of their way to help others. That's the nature of the job. That's what we get paid for. And this is just, I mean, you know, this is the guy out there in the cold. I mean, come on. They could have helped him. It could have been like, hey, this is a fight gone bad. You know, and things could have been worked out. Let's be honest, right? Things could have been worked out. Let's get this guy help, and it was a fight gone bad. But what's happened? And then, you know, McCabe sliding in as the surrogate parent for these two kids. And just, where do we go, Mike? This is awful.
Yeah,
absolutely awful.
I mean, what do you think about too? Like, journalists have been threatened. Like Turtle Boy's up on charges. They tried to scare me in January, and basically, like, anyone that makes a witness uncomfortable here could be charged with witness intimidation. What, I mean, you must think that's nuts, right?
Absolute red herring, exactly. And the intimidation is what? Asking people to tell the truth? I mean, you know, intimidation is, hey, you know, witness X, keep your mouth shut. You didn't see anything. I mean, come on. This, you know, I mean, for him, you know, he did the 60 days in jail on nonsense. We all know that. And the judges just, that's been another disappointing thing. Like, where's the judges to come in with some outrage saying, you know, it's all these discovery motions and motions to suppress and just, you know, the Brady material, like where's the outrage? Like, you guys are suppressing Brady material. That's the judge is supposed to come down hard on the state for doing that. You don't do that. It's, again, these are you know, these are the rules of the game we play. You do not do that. And I just feel, again, the judges have a very, you know, I don't get into Canoni, you know, see no evil. It seems like they have
a because I think you have a lot of experience here. You're current. I want to make sure people check in. This is a current New York law enforcement caller. You are currently employed. Your wife is a former DA. Yes. I mean, do you think these judges are whacked out? Because I feel like it. Like, I know I have some attorneys in my family, and they were all, and, you know, it's people who like attorneys because, you know, they're related to them, and they were all like, give the judges a chance. But after they're watching this, they're like, I can't believe it either. Like, do you feel the same way, that these judges are just, there's something wrong here? They're too close to the DA?
Yeah, the judges are all seemingly just closing ranks. You know, again, there's never any sense of outrage. Like, you know, state, why is it taking you 10 months to search your phone? Why is it taking you? Why are you giving over these statements? Why are, you know, obviously at the trial with the inversion of the video. I mean, that I would have been blasted if I was testifying. I mean, first of all, the first thing I would have said to the jury, to the court, was, hey, court, what we're looking at is, you know, we're looking at 37th Street and 6th Avenue, but I know it's supposed to be a view from the southeast corner, but for whatever reason, this is really a view from the southwest corner. Like, that's all like testifying 101. And then for it to like happen, them kind of be not caught, then caught in the lie. And then Cannoni just okay, next question. It could have been a mistrial right then and there. Like, we're done here. I mean, so yeah, from the judiciary, it's been, I have a friend who I went to college with, who's, I believe, in the neighboring county. I'm going to leave her name out of it. And she knows some of the characters up there. And her reaction to this, I hadn't touched, I kind of like at the reunion got her number and hadn't touched base with her in probably 20 years. And her reaction to frankly, my knowledge of this case was not, she didn't want to hear it. Let's just say that. So I do feel the judges are certainly closing ranks up there. Nobody wants to hear it. Listen, they all want this to go away, right? Let's be honest, right? Can come in, take a plea to leaving the scene of an accident, get nothing, go away. And that's what I kind of feel like that's what the system, for lack of a better word, again, look at that, sounding like a conspiracy guy, and I'm not, wants. Everybody wants this to go away. Like, this is shining a light on what's just, to me, is just, sunlight's the best disinfectant. I'm sure you've used that line before, but that's, I don't know. I'm disgusted. That's, you ask me, Karen Reed, one word is disgust. That's really it. It's just like, you guys were supposed to be the good guys, and this is what you did. And to a fellow cop, no less. And I just wish, like, some guys in the Boston PD would just come up and just, I know there's, there's a code of silence everywhere. Seems like it's a little more prevalent in Beantown. Maybe it's my New York bias showing, but, like, man, just friggin', I don't know, find a microphone, someone up there, and, like, stand up. I mean, the governor's been absolutely MIA on this. I mean, right?
Totally.
She finally had to say something because Proctor, she had to kind of play the woman card because Proctor's comments were so, misogynist and awful. But really, I mean, I don't know. I would just say, if it was in New York, I feel like the entire command staff would have been rightfully suspended and wiped out.
Yeah.
And it's just,
like, Bettero says,
again, we're not perfect.
He thinks they should fumigate.
Yeah, no, he's great with his, Godfather line.
Yeah.
Some of the others coming up.
It feels like Chinatown, Jake, right? I mean, it really does feel like Chinatown.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The Kaiser Associate reference on the new guy was great too.
Yeah, that was a lot last. 2 nights ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Mark keeps me laughing. Anyway, I don't want to take too much of your time. You got my call back. If you ever need I don't know, what I kind of feel like maybe an outsider law enforcement perspective, like, again, I've read every court document. I've watched all the trials. I've watched all the pre-trial. Like, I'm informed. The other side is going to say, oh yeah, you're just following TV's lead, but that's Turtle Boy to me is kind of like Trump. I wish sometimes he would kind of lessen some of his bombastic instincts, but what he has done shining a light on all this has been great, and you guys obviously put the baton and have just taken it to another level. So keep it up, man. Keep up the great work. Like, there's a lot of good people who are, like, got you back, and maybe they're working, trying to pay a mortgage, maybe not able to listen to every show or call in or whatnot, but just you're doing, you can look in the mirror and say, hey man, you made a difference. You really did. So keep it up.
Thank you so much, Chris. This is an amazing call. I'm so glad you called. It's, like I said, you're the first active law enforcement to ever call our show about this case. So, I mean, that is just set you apart. So thank you so much for calling today.
Yeah. Hey, hopefully I crack the dam a little, and hopefully you'll get,
more.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cop or whatever, just call up and say, hey man, you know what? That guy was right.
Yeah. And
Oh,
they don't even have to do what you did. They don't have to use their real name if they don't want to. They don't have to say what police force they're from, it just, but it would be nice to hear from more of them. I'm so glad that you called, Chris. You made my day.
Yeah, no,
one last question. What do you think about what happened in court today for Turtle Boy? In fact, that they're giving him emails and text messages from the DA. Like, have you ever, your wife was a DA. Did that ever happen to her where she was communicating with judges off the record?
that part, no way. I mean, it's insanity, absolute insanity. You know, that's the part where her outrage kind of tends to come in. Is just like, well, you know, I'm like these guys are calling themselves cops, question mark, and she's like, these people calling themselves prosecutors, like, what? Like, it's just so far out of bounds. And it would just be no. So today was definitely win-win in court. I almost feel like I would just wish sometimes I know that, you know, Yannetti and Mark and you know, they have to, you know, keep the courtroom decorum, but I almost feel sometimes I wish there was just almost a little more, not sense of outrage, because I know they're outraged internally, but just, I don't know, you know what I mean? Just a little more fire of like incredulousness. Yeah. Like, really, Judge? You know, like that. I know that's, you know, that's more of a street thing than a court thing.
Yeah.
So, but I would, it would just be nice to see, because
it would be nice. I think that's why we're not attorneys, because I would lose my shit. I would, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I don't know how they stay so patient. Actually, they're like, yes, Your Honor. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Yep. That's it. You know, it's unreal. I mean. Anyway, good stuff. Like I said, I'm sure you got other people calling, but hopefully you'll get more guys who, you know, carry a gun and a badge and say, I'm the good guy. It's time to step up.
It is time. People, they clean up, because this is how you make law enforcement respectable, is when you clean it up, you know?
Totally. I mean, good. I said 99% of the guys I'll go to the mat with. And
exactly.
So why are we, you know, why are we defending this behavior?
Exactly. It's not good. It's not good for the good cops. Like when I was a financial advisor, I wanted the bad ones to get caught. Like, there was a kid sitting next to me. I kind of liked him, but he did some shady shit. When they walked him out, I was glad, because it's like, dude, what the F you doing? You know what I mean? Like, it makes the rest of us look bad.
Right. You're trying to get people to entrust them with, you know, their savings, their money, their financial future. And when people like that, you know, appear on the scene, the Madoffs and whatnot, people say, you know what, I'll keep the money under my mattress, and I don't need.
And then they make bad decisions because they don't listen to the professionals. You know, it's like, so yeah. I mean, that's what you need. I'm in the dog business now. I feel the same way about some of these pet sitting and dog sitting businesses. You know, some of them kill dogs and shit. It's like I want them out of business. You know what I mean? I want them run out. Like,
yeah. Well, when you get Chloe as an account, let me know. That'll be a good day.
Definitely. Well, I'm psyched you called, Chris. This was a great call. I like I said, you really did make my day. I needed that. Thank you. So you picked the perfect time to call too. Thank you so much, Chris.
Good stuff. Take care.
You too.
Bye,
we'll talk soon.
You got it. Anytime.
Excellent. That was great. That was a current New York law enforcement. He knows Mark Betterow from back when Mark was a prosecutor in New York. I can't wait to tell Betterow your buddy called. It's unbelievable. That's why I love this show. The calls we get, the people that watch the show, it's just unbelievable. And I almost screwed it up. Thank you for the super chats, MJ and the other person who let me know. I had him on mute. Some of you actually said you did hear it because you probably had it full blast in the audio, because it was like on like the 1%. You probably could have heard it a little bit, but I basically missed most of his call, which sucked. But then Chris did it again. Chris is amazing. I have his phone number. We might have to get him back on the show. Maybe his wife too. I wonder if his wife will come on. Former prosecutor. I think, you know, I was ready to wrap it up because I'm over time, but I'm going to have to take one more call